Hi, and welcome to the CBC News Part 3 of us covering the UKY elections. And today we have Madness sitting in front of me here in the cathedral in Florentina. Hello, Madness.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no worries. We're going to ask you 5 questions and you just answer them as best as you can. Okay?
Yep.
You ready?
Of course.
Okay. Question number 1. Do you have any plans to increase the average citizen's wealth?
I think any government that went into this with not the intentions to improve the lives of the citizens would be going into this with the wrong intentions. I believe it is the responsibility of any government to work for everyone, whether they are citizens of Howard, Credia, or Ostia. So I'll be working closely with the governments of all 3 kingdoms to help create a working economy that will benefit everyone.
Okay. Question number 2. Are there any nations you plan on improving relations with?
Now, I feel like this is an answer that will be polarizing, and I imagine you've got responses from all sides of this spectrum in your
Yeah,
interview process so far.
Yeah.
I think, although Deliria have greatly wronged us, I think stating that we're just going to worsen relations with them or get revenge on them is never a great thing. They are still allies of Bardonia, and through my connections, I will work to improve relations with other northern nations, such as Alamein. And also, through religious ties, I will also work with countries such as Siluami?
Yeah, I think it's Simulami, yeah.
Simulami and other parties in that region, because the faith that I am a part of does have representation down there, and I think it as an area that does focus on roleplay down there, it'd be fantastic to learn from them and bring that over here so we can create activity and events for people to enjoy.
Okay, so congratulations, you answered 2 questions in 1. So the 4th question: what's your opinion on Lennox and Ostervacton?
So I was a part of the Haugian government whilst all of this was going down. And I have to say that the problem with all of this is that an agreement was made. But before the agreement could properly go through, the person who was going to enforce the agreement, Geo from Ryzan, sadly concluded that he was no longer going to play on the server. So I think before any diplomatic relationships with Lennox can be opened, there has to be a payment of the 500,000 that was promised to Popular for the land. If this does not happen, it will be very difficult to progress with a country that I know to lie about on diplomatic channels.
Okay. Question number 5. For a city like Seraphilos, what would you estimate the taxes would be for the claim?
It is a very sizable. Well, it's a very impressive claim, but I mean, I think it's important to remember that a prime minister does not lead on his own. There will still be the parliament. There will still be the members of my cabinet. And I think that this is something that has to be discussed. No one likes having a tax forced upon them. So I think it would be rash of me to say a figure now. I think it would be better to go into talks with the leaders of every claim alongside whoever will be a Minister of the Treasury and find something that makes everyone happy whilst still allowing us to fund events, the military, because in the end of the day, a country that cannot fund those types of things is not going to be able to create the activity that the citizens deserve.
Yes. Okay. I have another question. Question number 6. Regarding activity, what sports do you plan on diving into?
So actually, I am currently, I as of today, in the hockey league. This island here has a team in the hockey league as the Florentine Foxes. So we'll be partaking in those. I think it would be very interesting to make a Ulara Olympics where different claims around all three nations will have different sports, be it ice boat racing, parkour. I mean, drunk parkour, always a funny thing to watch. And then each country can have a team, or each region can have a team, and then they can compete for a actual reward. I think in terms of stoneworks, if you can imagine it, I'm sure there is some way that we can get it implemented as an official sport. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of towns that want to get teams together and playing.
Yeah. So just out of curiosity, what will the reward be for the iceboat races?
I mean, I'm sure we'll be able to garner a cup, but probably depending on how big the iceboat track is and how many people compete, somewhere between 10 and 20,000. You know, want to give people we want to give people incentive to win, incentive to participate. But again, this will be decided on things such as the taxation system, because if we don't have enough money to run events, then it will be very difficult to pay out for them.
Okay. But that was all the questions for today. And I just want to ask you if you would at any time be down for a political debate that might be hosted by the CBC.
Oh, I'll turn up to any debate. Give me a date and a time, and so long as I'm around, I will be there.
Okay, great.
And I mean, if you need an arena to host one, I mean, in real life, the one for my town is held in our cathedral. There are plenty of seats down there, and I'm sure we could make it a more formal debating area.
Of course. But thank you for joining us today, Madness, and I wish you luck with your campaign and overall just the elections. And yeah, that is it. Goodbye, and that's a